Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents All I Wanted Was a Glass of Vino, but an Alien Duke Kidnapped Me Instead, by Petra Palerno. Narrated by Ada Sinclair and Oliver Highpoint. Chapter 1. Just a Dog. MARTA. Listen, Marta, I'm really gonna need you to tighten it up. Your father is gonna kill me, and I 100% cannot bring you back to the brownstone this drunk. Do you understand? Tighten it the fuck up. My cousin Nick complains loudly. His hands gesture quickly in my general direction. Nick stands there in his linen suit and badly hidden side piece. He's as stereotypical a soldato as ever. There's one too many buttons undone on his white dress shirt, and his gold cross hangs heavy and nestled in his chest hair. He's looking at me with a cross between anxiety and annoyance. I think he's sick of me manically switching between euphoric, drunk, and so distraught I don't know how to breathe. But he can suck it the fuck up. This is his job, isn't it? He's supposed to take care of me because, apparently, my father thinks I can't take care of myself. Can you cut me some slack? I've had a fucking terrible week. I put a finger up for the bartender to bring me another Aperol Spritz. I know this annoys my cousin as I can see his eyes roll, but I don't give a shit. I really didn't want to say this, because I know he meant a lot to you, but for Christ's sake, Marta, he was just a dog. Just a dog? How dare you? I say, almost too softly to hear over the upbeat pop music blasting out of the wine bar's PA system. Nick immediately knows he's fucked up big time. Bruno wasn't just a fucking dog. He was my dog. I thump my hand over my heart. He was part of my soul. I want to cry, but I don't think any tears are left. I've been sobbing nonstop since I had to put my sweet pit bull down. Bruno wasn't just a dog, he was my confidant. Even though our brownstone was technically home, it was more of a gilded prison. Home was where my dog was, and now that he's gone, Nick just wouldn't get it. After he clocks out, he gets to go live his life. Being my bodyguard is just a nice way to make a paycheck. Hell, I even convinced my dad to let him do it because he didn't creep me out compared to all of my other options. I'd much rather have him than one of my father's stoic mercenaries. He might be a pain in my ass, but he's still my cousin, and I know I can trust him. I'm not allowed to do anything by myself. Someone in my father's position can't take the risk of leaving me alone. If I get into the hands of one pissed-off rival family, it's over for me. Being a kidnapping risk lends itself to a less than stellar social life. I can't even convince my Pops to let me get a day job. Although Pops has a reputation for being ruthless, he'd give me anything. Besides the only thing I truly want, freedom. He didn't know what to do when Bruno died. Even though neither of us is the hugging type, he squeezed me hard when I wouldn't stop crying. I think that's why he's even allowing me this small freedom, to have just Nick here tonight. Even though the bar's in our family's territory, it's a big deal. I know, God. I'm sorry. I'm just a little on edge that your dad is going to break my fucking legs if I take you home right now. Can you at least switch to water? His face softens, and I realize he's right. If I come home drunk off my ass, it's not gonna be me who feels my father's anger. Honestly, that's fucked up, right? How is it his fault that I'm shit-faced? It's the consequences of my own actions, after all. I mean, what would Nick even do? It's not like he could stop me. Just imagining him trying to wrangle the wine glass from my hands make me crack a small smirk. Sure, he's a big, bad soldato now, but I've got the miraculous older cousin's strength. It's like some law of the universe that even though he's technically bigger than I am now, birthright gives me the advantage in family butt-kicking. He's here to protect me, so that I can't be attacked, kidnapped, or killed because of some vendetta against my family. I wonder if it would have been easier for my father if he'd had a son. Someone he didn't have to protect as fiercely as he does me. I crave the kind of freedom it would have allowed me. I'll cut Nick a break, just this once. It is getting late. Yeah, I can switch to water. I'm sorry I'm being such an ass. I turn my head. And water! I shout at the bar back. When the bartender returns with my orange and bitter tasting cocktail, I hand it to Nick and gulp down my cup of water in record time. I am sorry your dog died. Nick awkwardly checks his piece at his hip. It's something I notice he does a lot. Maybe the gun makes him nervous? He's not exactly a made man yet, which is one of the reasons I had to beg Pops to let him protect me. I never had a pet, so I guess I just don't really get it. You know what it's like for me? I look around the bar and make sure no one is in earshot. That because Pops does what he does, I get to live half a life. He only wants what's best for you, does he? How could this be the best thing for me? Jesus, this life is a fucking lonely one. I set my drink down hard on the bar in frustration. Nick bites the inside of his cheek, as if he's unsure what to say. Normally, I would quip something teasing to my cousin to break the tension, but I can't help my mind from drifting back to my dear departed pup. After Pops discovered that a rival family had started a dog-fighting ring, he decided they needed to be taken down a notch. By the time the dust settled, there were 15 pit bulls left. It may seem silly to have a crime boss give a shit about fighting dogs, but my father did. One by one, the dogs were rehomed until only Bruno was left. He was unlucky enough to be the bait dog. His gentleness, the thing I loved most about him, was his downfall. Scars marked the whole left side of his face. The pink lines cut through his elegant gray fur. No one wanted him, this puppy with a ruined mug. No one but me. You should get a dog, Nick. They'd probably make you seem more like a normal dude and less like the absolute douchebag you are. I tease him as I pull myself back to reality, buttoning up his shirt as a smirk forms on my lips. Hell, you might be able to convince a nice girl to have sex with you if you had a dog. My smirk turns into a full-blown drunk belly laugh. He waves a hand at me. Aw, shut up about it already, won't ya? He quickly grabs my Aperol spritz off the bar and downs it. At the last wheeze of my laugh, I move to whack him on the shoulder. But I realize I can't. I'm frozen in place. An ecstatic charge is running through my muscles. I can't even breathe. Everything in my body is held in some suspended state. Nick has the cocktail glass to his lips, head thrown back, but the orange liquid no longer flows into his mouth. It spills down his cheeks. The Aperol stains his white linen shirt as it trails down his neck and onto his chest. The gold cross looks slick. Everything inside my mind is screaming that this is wrong. I'm trying to shake my frozen arm, to flail my limbs. My body remains like a marble statue frozen in time. The music plays on, some saccharine pop blasting over the speakers. As the melodic voice of a teenage girl sweeps through the bar, the dread and the lack of air make my chest burn. I feel as though I'm about to pass out, that I can't go without a breath, my chest frozen on some forever exhale. A white light flashes through the room, brighter than any camera flash I've ever seen. It's so blinding that my eyes sting and I can actually feel my retina begin to burn. I want to cover my hands with my eyes, to snap my eyelids shut, but the pain continues. Then, just as quickly as the light filled the bar, everything returns to normal, and I take a breath. The air hits me hard as my body moves again. My grunt rumbles through the pop star's lyrics, and I nearly punch myself as my hands spring to my face, and I barely dodge them. I'm gasping for air, trying to understand what the fuck is happening, when I barely feel the prick at my thigh before my knees buckle. I reach for where my skin was pinched. I drop quickly as soon as I move my arm, like a cartoon character hit with a tranquilizer dart. My head slams onto the floor, and a purple dripping claw brings what looks like an ear-piercing gun to my temple. "What the fuck?" I yell as I try to push it away from my head. My nails hit my attacker's flesh, and it's slick with slime. The light has blown out my vision. The world is overexposed, and I can't make out my attacker. There's a sharp pain above my temple, and the stinging winds its way behind my ear and deep into my skull. I can barely scream before the world falls to black.
Chapter 2. Social Parasites. Rafir. The elegant feline females sitting in the parlor of my bedroom ooze pure sex. I know their every move is deliberate, an attempt to snag Santaprile VI's most eligible royal bachelor, me. Not because I'm good-looking or charming, but because of the title I hold. His Grace Duke Rafir of the Lingen Reefs. It's amazing how insufferable Kiran and her lackey Triad are now. Their personalities and lack of any sense are something that annoys me to no end, now that I can't bring myself to bed them any longer. It's been over for me since my discovery on the Dean's ship. That's when I saw her. That tiny, weak-looking human, asleep in her cryopod. I felt like I was dying. The pain in my chest was so intense. I thought that maybe one of my hearts was finally giving out after a night of smoking too much nebula leaf. 2 hearts instead of most modern felines, 1. It's a biological quirk from my mother's line. The people of the Lingen Reefs have remained aquatic much longer than others, and still have a fully formed gill heart to prove it. But no, it wasn't partying that made my heart's ache. It was the Fatine mating bond. Just seeing her frozen face was enough to trigger my body's biological purpose, to activate some deep instinct in my DNA. I thought I would feel some overwhelming euphoria when I found my fated mate, not this nagging and painful need in my chest. The bond pleaded with me to cradle that small human up in my arms that day, to feed her, woo her, and drive my cock deep into her until she's moaning my name. But I can't have a human mate. They've caused quite a logistic nightmare for the Santaprile VI government since we discovered they're being brought here against their will. We're in an unwinnable war against the Dean's aliens that brought them here in the first place. That hive-minded piece of shit doesn't care how many of its puppet bodies they lose in battle. They'll just make more. All this for bubble dancing. The humans are shuffled around to all the high-end clubs in the galaxy, stuffed into plastic security pods and forced to perform. The universe assumed the human species was just naturally more Taurus and therefore suited for the task at hand. Only recently have we found out that they're in fact drugged to be the vision of sexuality that the rest of the universe believes them to be. "Raph, I'm sick of cocktails. Let's fool around." Kiran lets the complaint fall from her pouty lips. She reaches her dainty hand out for my ass, but I grab her wrist and stop her in her tracks. Her eyes shoot up, startled. I'm not in the mood. I release her wrist, and she rubs the joint like it burns. Chiron frowns, narrowing her eyes at me. Triad cocks her head as if my curt reaction to her friend amuses her. Maybe she believes she can finally get me to herself. If you're not interested in playing, can I have one of your toys to go? You've always got such good taste. She coos. Maybe the one that Chiron likes, the one with the spinning bit? At any other time before the human, I'd love to take out my frustration on these two. I've always found it calming that I can please females. Maybe their pleasure makes me feel better about the mess that my face has become. I have to stop myself from reaching up to my scars. It's like whenever I think of the sad state of my visage has been left in, I can't help but run my fingers along the textured skin. But the thought of even touching them makes my stomach churn with distaste now. I probably wouldn't even get hard. The bond only begs me for the tiny earthling mate, asleep in her cryopod and stashed in my dressing room. Oh yeah, Duke Daddy, that one is fabulous. Chiron recovers, letting her disappointment slide beneath the sultry mask I'm used to seeing. She even adds a giggle, a little flourish that might once have had the blood racing to my cock. If I give you the sex toy, do you promise to leave so I can get some sleep? I ask exasperatedly. I pinch the bridge of my nose, sighing. Sleep. I wish. Instead of sleeping these past few days, I've sat with my nose pressed up against the window of the cryopod. I hate her and what she's done to me. You're such a grump tonight, Rafir. What's gotten into you? Chiron complains, obviously not pleased with this new indifference I hold for her. Her voice is cloying, and it grates on my nerves even further. Work, I tell her, pushing the hidden door to my closet open. I open it only enough to discourage them from following me. Despite their cutthroat attitudes towards climbing the social ladder, they still understand some of the royal protocol. They're lucky enough to be in my chambers. They wouldn't dare follow me into my private dressing room. But as I edge into the closet, a scent that makes my hair stand on end hits me. The fear scent that fills my closet is intense and unique. It's something I've never smelled before. Although the scent's central note is acrid and desperate, there's something sweet and musky beneath it. A nectar I would give anything to taste on my lips. I sense a figure to my right, and my army training instinctively has me pushing a hand out to block something heavy swinging toward me. A cool glass shaft of a dildo hits my palm. Its weight familiar in my practiced hands even in the dim lighting. The toy in question is one I only use for my more experienced lovers. Its impressive size makes it the perfect impromptu weapon. I trail my eyes from the phallic weapon to the tiny hand that holds it. Tight, black curls, the hair stopping right below her chin in a blunt cut, frame her round face. The woman's skin, once pale and blue in her cryopod, is now olive and tanned. A wild red flush is spreading over her cheeks and chest. The deep brown eyes that stare at me are wide, her mouth agape as she tilts her chin up slowly to gaze at my face. Fatigue, I mutter, my body overwhelmed by her nearness. If I thought the mating bond between us was strong before, to breathe in my mate's scent, to be so close to touching her round body, my every cell burns for her. What? The human, my mate, stutters. Her expression softens. Bruno? Who the fatigue is Bruno? I ask bitterly. Jealousy boils inside me. Does she already belong to another? I would kill him, wrench his heart from his ribcage, and spit on his corpse. She is mine. I grab the toy from her grip easily and place it on the nearby island. I take a deep breath, trying to calm all the emotions flooding my system. My brain feels as though it's short-circuiting and I'm no longer in control. You weren't supposed to wake up, I whisper. As much as I want to know more about her, I don't want to mate, especially a human female.
Why did you think you killed me?
Her face blanches and she slowly backs away. She's frightened of me.
What are you?
She mutters meekly as she slinks into the shadowy corner of my closet. I'm annoyed that she's been woken from cryo, and I'm not as practiced in kindness as I am in pleasure. I don't try to comfort the shaking earthling in front of me. Stay here, I say, quickly backing into the doorway and snapping the door closed in front of me. I must be alone to come up with a solution. I need to get rid of the social climbing parasites in my chamber. Get the fitty out, I say firmly, lifting the two females from their seats to standing.
What in the goddess's name are you on about?
Kieran has her voice frantic. Get the fitty out! I enunciate every word, so there's no misunderstanding. Each syllable stings like a poking barb. Both feline females stand in front of me, shocked. I push past them, swinging open the double door of my chambers into the hallway. My personal butler, Genzi, waits at the ready. The females are leaving now. Do not disturb me for the rest of the night. I push both females unceremoniously into the hallway by their backs. Their faces are still shocked and confused as I wait for them to be escorted out of the estate, happy to be finally rid of them. Genzi nods and signals to the guards stationed in the hallway. Their faces are still shocked and confused as I slam my chamber door shut, happy to be rid of them, finally. I head back to the dressing room door. I hear the females' grunts of displeasure as the house staff shows them out. I'm almost as happy to be rid of the overly ambitious duo as I am stressed about the angry human I've got locked in my room. I face the closet, my hand twitching on the hidden handle until I can deliberately slow my breathing. I won't let this earthling get the better of me. Pulling my shoulders back, I swing the closet door open. As if spring-loaded, it releases my mate, who flings herself at me. Her fist slams down hard onto my sternum. She is deceptively strong, given how tiny she is. The air rushes out of her chest as we collide. My arms wrap around her by instinct alone. For the first time, I can feel her skin on mine. She's deliciously much warmer than I am. I can't stop myself before I tilt my head down and bury my nose in her hair, inhaling her musky sweetness, a scent that reminds me of temple incense and Druic liqueur. She stills for a moment and holds her breath, tensing her muscles, but quickly begins pushing against my chest, struggling.
I will drag your ass down to hell with me,
she screams, her nails digging into my skin.
You should have killed me when you had the chance, fucker.
My small mate is like a wild Zorro, whipping around as my arms encircle her even tighter. If I wanted to kill you, you'd be long dead. You should feel honored I didn't let you rot on the Dean's ship. I grit through my teeth, twisting my chin up to avoid the worst of her thrashing.
Honored? Fuck off, you monster!
Her voice seems too loud for the size of her body. Monster. Maybe she's right. I turn the scarred side of my face away from her. I saved you from the Deans, from a life of sexual servitude, from dying in that Fatine cryopod. I tell her some version of the truth I can think she can handle right now. I don't mention the other humans or that she's here secretly, that I stole her away in the dead of night from the Dean's ship's wreckage. Not even Genzi, my keeper of secrets and my confidant, is aware of her existence. She huffs, her chin wobbling as fat tears threaten to crest over her lower lashes. Her face is now angry and red. Despite her small size compared to my people, she has a fierce look in her eye that suggests she won't back down easily.
Why would you help me?
Because I didn't have a choice, I tell her, and it's not a lie. The bond wouldn't have let me leave her there. She doesn't respond, but she stops her flailing. I set her down on the club chair, hoping she would mask the scent of Triot's perfume still lingering in the air. She sits as straight as a board and stares at me. I'm sure she's disgusted by my scars. If you can manage to control your post-cryosleep mood swings, maybe I can introduce myself. My name is Rafir. I am Duke of the Lingen Reefs, the part of the universe where you now find yourself. Since you are here in my domain, you are now my subject, I assure her. I am bound by royal duty to ensure your safety. I let my words hang in the air as I wait for her to tell me her name.
Marta. My name is Marta.
The snarl on her lips turns into a fierce expression as she lands a punch right under my ribcage.
Chapter 3. Sink or Swim? Marta. The fucking monster doesn't even wince as my fist meets his thick and muscular ribcage. My knuckles thud dully against his solid core. Fuck! I yelp, recoil in my hand. Hitting his chest is like punching a brick wall, and my split bloody knuckle agrees with the sentiment. The big gray beast straightens to his full height over me. He must be over 7 feet tall, his broad shoulders blocking any of the light from the room behind him. I gulp as I realize I've just attacked this giant, and if he wanted to, he could snap me in half. He glowers down at me as I grip his bougie upholstery with my uninjured hand. Set in my jaw, I brace myself for his reaction, half expecting him to backhand me. Exhaling a burst of air through his nostrils, he frowns before scrubbing a palm over his face. His arm shoots out, and I wince, squeezing my eyes tightly shut. When I feel his hand brush past me, I crack open one eye. His four-fingered hand, larger than my head, pulls a piece of cloth from the table behind me. You don't have to like your current situation, he starts as he pulls my bleeding hand from my chest. But I can only tolerate so much disrespect. The Duke of whatever he said he was the Duke of seems annoyed. I should fight. I should run. But given how well my punch went over, I resign myself to hear him out for now. Maybe I'll be able to learn something to help me escape. Perhaps if I show him a little respect, I can even get him to help me. Respect is something I can understand. I'd appreciate it if you didn't bleed all over my home. He wraps my hand in the cloth much more gently than I would have thought was possible for someone his size. His gray fingers gingerly tuck the fabric in on itself until it's tight enough to stay put on its own. I don't know you at all. That's the problem here. I look down at the origami of white fabric that's wrapped around my hand as it blooms with small pricks of blood. I don't know what you even are. Rafir cocks his white brow and sits in an easy chair opposite me. I am Feline. I suppose to you I'm an alien. He says the word alien with a grimace, as if the taste of it is bitter in his mouth. Alien? No fucking way. The corners of my mouth
Sample complete. Ready to continue?